Hello people, I'm back here again with a Battlefield Bad Company 2 video this time. And I'm defending on Rush on Atacama Desert. And I call this video the one that wore me out. I don't play Battlefield Bad Company 2 anymore because the game wore me out. And I left in this little dramatic silence in the start because I just wanted to show one of the things that I really loved about Battlefield Bad Company 2, mines. Mines are not as dominating today in Battlefield 3, and I think it's because as an engineer you have to give up something really useful, your blowtorch and repair tool, to be able to run mines. And that's yeah. Since it's such a vehicle heavy game, you really need your repair tool. So that's a balance that I'm a bit unsure on. I would rather trade my RPG for mines, but that's a decision I made, and more power to me. I don't play Battlefield Bad Company 2 anymore. Even though it was the game that really turned me on to online gaming. Actually, the first game that made me start playing online was Modern Warfare 2, because I saw a friend playing it online and I thought, this looks cool. And it turned out to be everything but cool. Well, that's a different story. So, I saw all the DICE made all the incredible videos for Battlefield Bad Company 2 and it really turned me on, but the beta deterred me like hell. I thought that, I don't know what it was, just did not enjoy the beta. I think it was the steep learning curve of weapon handling, but I never got to play it. So, but I ended up getting Battlefield Bad Company 2 for my Xbox regardless, because of a very nice pre-order. And this is I'll be fucking yeah. I ended up trading I traded in 2 games and I got it for a Danish krone, so I couldn't resist. And from that on, it was a love story. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the beta did or didn't do. I think it was just the map part what else that was just pure horrible. But I ended up loving this game, and I played it for like 700 hours before I moved on. It did turn to a bit of a sour love story at times, but I really liked it. But in the end, it just wow, it just wore me out. There's a lot of debate about what Battlefield 3 is and what it could have been and what it isn't. And
how many people are there in the bloody base?
I like Battlefield 3. That's my stance on it. I really enjoy it, and I'm not saying that it's a game that's doesn't have its faults, because it really does fucking have its faults. And DICE really did drop the ball on it, and the post support is horrendous. And every time they patch it, they introduce new fucking glitches and bugs and weapon unbalances, and which makes me think that the testing department is beyond a joke. And not a debate. But Battlefield Bad Company 2 has its issues. The MCOM, the destructible MCOMs really ruined Rush for a big part. I really enjoyed playing Rush, and it was really fantastic gameplay because you don't really get that same hectic feeling in Conquest on most maps. But
yeah, he was just getting torn apart.
Every douchebag in this game just C4'd the UAV, which was completely overpowered, and I cannot fathom why in the fuck developers would decide to put on a light machine gun on a flying thing. You can fly from your deployment that has unlimited ammo, and you can just fly over a base and shoot people in the face with it. Furthermore, you can put C4 on it and fly it in and blow up an MCOM. And they did it. And it was very difficult to defend against, because they could just do it again and again and again and again and again. And then they started just running in and putting C4 on MCOM and blow it up. And at that point, people complained, said to DICE, fix it. For God's sake, fix this. And we got told, well, not that, like, there's just a variable we could say, do not give damage to an MCOM, which I don't understand, because the only thing that didn't give damage to an MCOM was a mortar strike, but it gave damage to everything else. So, yeah. I'm not gonna insinuate anything here, but I think that was something else behind that. But they did end up upping the
Oh, worst.
no,
ever for that guy.
nerf the damage that explosive gave to MCOM. So they did have some power. I can't understand why they could set the damage to 0, but they didn't. So it could still be destructed. So you could still shoot tank shells on it than RPGs. That kind of took the fun out of Rush. And yeah, that was annoying.
GG.
Really unfortunate. So that was one of the things where we saw dice. And you know what? It took like 6 months before they fixed it, and it just came within a patch for before Battlefield Back Home to Vietnam
Wow,
came.
that one ticket left.
So that was annoying. Another thing that I didn't really like, and I still don't like, is the Gustav. They didn't nerf the splash damage of that, and you could even up the splash damage, putting on that spec that's called Explosive Mark. The same thing with the noob tube. It was just noob tubing heaven, and you just have people running around with Gustav primary. The users was also really dominant, and they didn't care about that and didn't fix it either. And as I'm doing this commentary, I'm really getting kind of annoyed with dice. but Battlefield Bad Company had things that was easier to abuse and be a douchebag. But it did have some awesome sound, fantastic graphics, and a really intense gameplay. The pace is a bit more fast here than it is in Battlefield 3, and I think that's it makes it a bit more difficult game. I think you need to have a bit more gun skill than you do in Battlefield 3. It's a different kind of skill at least. In Battlefield 3 you don't really need to aim. You don't need to get that many shots on target. You do that in Battlefield Bad Company 2. Me and Barna have discussed this. We don't discuss it, but we haven't been agreeing on it. But I tend to agree with him now. Battlefield Bad Company 2 is a game that, gun-wise, take more skill. Where I think Battlefield 3, you need. I don't know. It does take a bit more gun skill regarding aim. The pace is more hectic, and you need to steady your aim to get those shots and more shots on target. So at this point, I can't really play this game anymore. I jumped on occasion. It was there. The mines that I just left and forgot just gave me a kill. Brilliant. This game just wore me out. And when Medal of Honor came, we all went over there to play Medal of Honor because we just had it with Battlefield Bad Company 2. Needless to say, the Medal of Honor honeymoon was short and very ugly there was. I actually returned to Medal of Honor after the most of the douchebags left it. Speaking of Medal of Honor, yet another game DICE dropped the ball on regarding post-launch support. Hey, we're starting to see a pattern here, aren't we? And then came Homefront, and that was even worse than Medal of Honor. Yeah, the studio closed down. That says something, doesn't it? So, one of the reasons that I've really resigned to play this game is I don't want to taint the memory of it. I really enjoyed it, and it gave me new friends. It gave me a new hobby, basically. I'm a gamer again. I weren't that much before, and Battlefield Bad Company 2 is to thank for that. And it's just an amazing immersive experience playing it on the console. I've never really experienced anything like Battlefield Bad Company 2. But all those douchey things, what could be exploited, just wore me out on the game. It just wore me out. And I know that it can be said that it's the players and not the game, but the game just gave him those more easier tools. So I got fed up with being quick scoped and Gustav and Explosive Mark II. Yeah, and another thing that really annoys me is the recon. Just a kit that was way too powerful. A jack of all trades, basically. Anyways, I got this gameplay playing with Black Sunshine the other day, and I kind of had a blast with it, but I also felt that I can't play this game too much. So I had that one game and I jumped off, and that was it. Anyways, that's my thoughts on what the Battlefield Comedy 2 is now and what it had meant for me. Amazing game that I can't play anymore, and I think we'll leave it at that. I'll probably go back and play it once in a while, but not too much. But thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little video. Bye bye.